Bula Vinaka, Talofa Lava, Malalale, and Kia ora family. Welcome back to the Nesian Money Show. My name is Joe Swami. Guys, today we've got a interesting guest from the community. I won't tell you too much before Izzy does a special intro for him. But yes, this show is all about empowering our Pacifica families and communities in the area of money, finance and business, guys. So today's one is quite interesting, and a lot of the families will be interested in, because we sort of go a little bit into dig into the insights of what happens behind the doors in sport and community at a professional level. Somebody has inside knowledge, and Brother Izzy is gonna introduce him to you.
Thank you, Joe. We are thrilled to welcome George Dansey to the Nesian Money Show, known affectionately by the Parramatta Eels as the Rev, but to us, Tala Vinaka, thank you for being here today. And you've been part of the Parramatta Eels down there since 2011. For over a decade, he's been a steady positive influence, helping players navigate the intense ups and downs of rugby league. From game day nerves to life off the field, George is there to lend a listening ear, provide wise counsel, and remind players they're supported through every challenge. While he may not be in the spotlight, George's impacts on the team is undeniable. He's built lasting relationships with players, coaches and staff, showing up every week to be a friend, mentor and a voice of calm. Beyond his roles with the Eels, George also leads a congregation at Hillsong Church, and where he continues to uplift and inspire. As George says, where the people are, that's where I know God wants me to be. His dedication is serving others, especially young players still finding their way in the public eye, makes him a true role model in both faith and life. We're excited to hear more about his journey, his insight, community support, wisdom and resilience in today's episode. Welcome, George.
Oh, thanks for having me. Bula Vinaka, everybody. What a spiel by Lizzie. Jeez.
Nice.
We're trying here.
No, that was good. That actually was quite humbling to hear all that.
Yeah, welcome to the show. So how's things been?
Been good, thank you. Just started back up for the pre-season for 2025.
Yep.
So today was our second day, but family's well, kids are well. 6 more weeks till school holidays, till the end of 2024. But everything's going well. It's been a big year.
Beautiful.
And
how many kids you got?
Got three. Got three. 13, 11 and 6. So Josiah, Ivy and Lenny, and then one wife, Stephanie, my one wife. I'm sorry.
The boss, the Minister of Finance,
yeah, true.
The Minister of Defence.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right.
So thank you, Steph, for letting him out tonight, and we appreciate you. And yes, well, George, thank you to welcome to the show again. And can you please tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you were born,
Yeah. Well, I'm 42, turning 43 next year. So, born in the beautiful islands of Fiji, in Otoka. Born and raised in Nandi. Went to Namaka Public School when I was 5, and then we migrated over when I was 6. I was born in 82. We migrated in 1989 to Sydney, and we've stayed ever since. So I keep telling everybody that I was made in Fiji, raised in Sydney. Yeah. And so, like everyone thinks I'm plastic Fijian too, because I speak like proper, but they don't know I can understand it. I can speak it as well. But so one of 5 kids, my older sister Mariani, myself, Freddie, Deanne and Jess. So there's 5 of us, so 3 girls, 2 boys, raised in Flemington, near Lidcombe there, with my mum's parents, and so my uncles and aunties, until we were able financially enough to find a place. We moved out, and then we moved over to Seven Hills when I was in high school, and then branched out, living with different friends, and then found my wife in youth group. And
the only place to find
them. The only place. The only place. If you're looking, you know where to find them. Not in the other place, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's been Sydney's home, so I've seen and met a lot of people too. So the journey's been quite exciting, learning a lot of people, things, and meeting a lot of people along the way.
What was? Did you play any sports growing up? How was your childhood?
Yeah, I was lucky enough because obviously, being Fijian, obviously you have an athletic ability in sports. So I was fortunate enough to go to a good school, Christian Brothers Burwood. They went to year 7 to year 10, and then I was fortunate enough to go to year boarding school for a scholarship for 11 and 12 at St Joseph's Hunters Hill. So I played a bit of rugby. Oh, wow. I didn't make it like big or anything, but I played with a lot of guys that went through. But that's when I sort of knew that sport was going to be in my life in some way. Didn't know what, but either I was looking at studying sports marketing, like the Jerry Maguire movie came out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so all of a sudden,
you, Jerry or Cooper Gooding?
well, people, no. So as soon as I heard the show me the money part, I'm like, oh, maybe like being an agent could be a thing. So I started looking into sports marketing, but I think, and talking to other people about it, like, it just wasn't a good fit for me. But I still was on that journey with sports. So it took me a while to get to where I am now, like the journey, and we'll talk about that in depth. But I'm sort of passionate at what I'm doing now, and I want to help a lot more people. So this has been a blessing in disguise, being here and trying to help our community.
So you played quite at a high level in school, yeah?
Yeah. So obviously you go to boarding school, you play the first 15. So I went to year 11, played 3 games the first 15, and then year 12 I played the whole year. But we lost in the final to Kings, which is just a school down the road. Yeah. And so...
a few famous names have come through there, eh? Like George Dansey.
No, well, back then, like year 12, the games were televised in Channel 2. So back then, like, it was huge. We were like, I mean, you're on TV.
So you got selected to go to boarding school through
Yeah, I played. I played with a junior club called West Juniors, which is around the West Harbour area, and somehow someone must have seen me play, and then they rang the principal of the school. The principal of the school rang.
Your right foot step, eh?
Left foot, right foot step.
Was academics a big part of when you went to boarding school? Was there a difference between where you were and when you were at boarding school?
Yeah, it was huge. Like, first of all, like I didn't realise there was the world that existed. Yeah. And so you got like CEOs, kids that were there. We had expats from Washington, Singapore sending their sons to the school. Yeah. And then you had the country boys, which I got along really well with, all the farm kids. And so we got along well. So you got like a whole mix of upbringing in one place. So it was, for me, it was because I was just not far from where the school was. It was a bit of a eye-opener, but I was really shy. So there was a couple of kids that sort of helped me break that sort of mold. And I think I was only one of 3 sort of dark-skinned kids in
Any
our
other
year.
Fijians?
No, there was Papua New Guinea the year before, and they thought I was his brother in year 12, Corey Chan, and he was the Prime Minister's son. So so there's caliber of people that have come to that school. But so I was just like, I didn't know this world existed, to be honest. After a while, I thought, oh, this is actually like good for me.
Yeah, wow.
Were you a good student?
I wasn't great, but I learned. But
you learned quick?
Oh, man, like we had to, so this is like, we wake up in the morning about 6, 7, if we're not training or doing whatever, we'll go to breakfast is about 8:30, so we go to the dorm, cafeteria, breakfast, come back, get ready, go to class, have class, like I think we have 4 or 5 periods, and then like lunchtime's in the cafeteria too, but then literally after school we run to the fields for whatever, and then back at dinner, shower, back at dinner, and then dinner, study for 3 hours in the classroom. So just like every day, Monday to Friday, like that. So some people like, I talked to some of the old boys and we said, what a world we live in. Like some of them sort of went the other way because the institution type of system sort of didn't like it. Others sort of, like guys like me, I really like the system, but some people didn't like it.
Interesting. Well, how has your background shaped your career now?
I think it's made me who I am because obviously we've been Fijian, been humble, been grounded, but also having a bit of a purpose, and we're all communal type people too. So it's not just like I'm working towards getting somewhere. I'm also learning to get people along the journey with me to help them along the way. So we're always trying to be people that actually help out and help whenever there's needed. So I feel like my being my culture has helped me and my wife, because she's Australian, learn and understand about just how we can actually just do this life, whatever it looks like, but do it where we can just be satisfied, not just for the mundane, for the house, the car, you know, all that sort of stuff. The older I get, I just feel like, oh, I'm actually okay. I'm actually, you know, I don't need to chase anything. I'm actually, you know, we're always in a big city like Sydney trying to chase something, but every now and then just to remind myself, like, you know, you're actually doing better than you think you are.
A lot of us fail to see that sometimes, at least, you know, until we're talking to someone else.
No, honestly, I agree. Like you talk about like money, and where we come from, people like a culture where money wasn't even discussed. You actually, like, you have the food, you grow the food, you eat together as a family, you go to work, and then you come back and you enjoy it. Like, we're not talking about like what you have or whatever, you know. So I think we miss that a bit. And like mental health, we'll talk about mental health. Sometimes that creeps in because you're always thinking about what others, or you compare to yourself to what other people have. I feel like, the older I'm getting, I'm realising more and more stuff like that where we were growing up, we didn't discuss because it wasn't even a thing.
I think you're right. With upbringing, like we there was no such thing as rent in the village. Type of thing. So it's like, then we've got to. I think it's still in our DNA, or in our, you know, that sort of the behaviour or the feeling, you know, those feelings. But it happens everywhere, right? It's not just limited to our community. Yeah, it's with everyone. Yeah.
We went to Fiji last year with the kids for the first time, and one thing I noticed that we were walking around, everyone said hello, but they looked in your eyes, everyone said hello, you know, this and blah. And then I realised, you know what, like, just doing that small thing, saying hello to somebody every day, like, you don't have to look at your phone, you don't have to, everyone feels happier, you know. And so we come back here and like everyone's just busy. You feel like, oh, like you're back in your shell again. But when you embrace yourself and you open yourself to somebody, like, it's actually a thing.
In terms of the Eels, so what are you doing at the moment? What's your role there? How would you describe it?
It's been a journey to get to this role. My current role now, I'm the wellbeing and liaison officer. So I started in 2011, as Izzy mentioned, that I started as the chaplain, and that was like a more volunteer role because I was a sports chaplain at a church. And so that journey started 2011, and then got to a point where I was still doing that 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. I think it changed because we had COVID, and then the NRL had to relocate all the Sydney teams to Gold Coast so they can actually play. And so there was a transition, and the club asked me if I wanted to go, which meant I had to leave my family for about 12 weeks, and all that quarantine, 2 weeks quarantine, all that sort of stuff. By that time, I was in my head, my heart was changing from being working in full-time ministry into the wellbeing space. Yeah. It's the same role, but it's just different in working for an sporting organisation. So I said yes, I'll go up for 12 weeks. Loved it. I looked after all the families that were moving up, and so that was good. But then I came back, and then I knew that was the next season of my life, which is now. But then had to make some decisions to leave full-time ministry and then transition into full-time work with the Parramatta Eels as a wellbeing liaison officer. So that was a big thing. I knew that I reached my ceiling, so I just had to recognise it and feel like, oh, you know, this is the next thing that's opening up. And then when I started the wellbeing in 2022, that's when we made the grand final.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, we didn't. So 22, 23, and then I'm here, it's been my third year as the wellbeing.
Was it 22, the grand final?
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
That's right, the Panthers.
Is that a common thing, having sports chaplains within teams, or just only Para does that?
No, yeah. When I started, there was only 4 or 5 from different NRL clubs, but now they're with 18 or 17 clubs. They actually, all of them have chaplains now. Okay. Yeah. So I was one of the first and one of the youngest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So like a lot of them require like ministers with different denominations. So I knew when I figured out what I wanted to do in sport and ministry, like just those two lives collide, or those two industries collide, I knew there was going to be a sports chaplain, and it moved into sports wellbeing.
What's the main sort of faiths within it's NRL, and the NRL?
There's Muslims, they're everywhere. Every single denomination you can find, they're there. Okay. It's just that some people are more vocal about it, some people aren't. So I remember when I started, there was not many Christians too, or like people that were willing to admit. So now with more numbers and people are more happy to express their faith as well, and you give that space too. So the NRL's been great too with.
I do find that in NRL we're so accepting of everyone, and it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Everyone's like, there's a place here for you. So you've probably seen that over your time from being at Para. And how's that been?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when people express their faith, when they they come to a safe space where they can do it. It's very it's very humbling because it's part of them. I always think about like you get a player coming into the system, and some clubs wouldn't allow the spirituality side of their being to be expressed, and so but we know that player spirituality is such a big thing. You're pretty much taking 50 or if not 60% of that person out. So now we've gotten better to realise that actually is a lot to express the spirituality and embrace it as a club or as an organisation or whatever business you want to run. So the spirituality side is huge because now, like the wellbeing pie, spirituality is such a thing. It could be like a spirituality of just meditating. It doesn't have to be faith in, whatever God.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, 60% of the game now is by
Pacifica,
yeah. So that's, I mean, faith is a big part of the
Correct.
community, so it just makes sense to adopt it and make it part of the game.
No, but we didn't think like they didn't think like that. Like we knew that faith was such a big thing for us.
Yeah.
And so you take faith away, and this is the other part of it, is that you would experience players that are retired now. We'll talk about how they come into a system, and like for them, the culture was probably not necessarily the culture that helped this spirituality. It was more the opposite. It was the drinking. It was whatever else they would do outside, and that didn't help the player too. So they had to adjust and navigate that through as well. And so sometimes they went through a bit of a downward spiral because there was no one there to give them that safe space to express their spirituality or whatever it is.
Do you have exposure to other sports within, like sort of so do soccer or rugby league or union in terms of or is it you've always worked within the NRL?
No, I've because I played rugby. Like rugby's another element, another code that I work. Well, when I say work, I've got a relationship with certain players from different countries, and so it's been good because we used to organise like get-togethers, so then athletes can just get together in one room, and then just let them talk. Like they just needed someone to go, you know what, I'm going through the same thing as you are, like in different environment, but I'm actually like, it's good to share. Yeah. So that was one thing I found where we can just organise a time and place where we just have food, a place, and they all get together and they just share and just iron sharpens iron type of thing, and they feel like, oh, I can trust this guy because he's sort of going through the same thing I am, or person or female.
What is your role with wellbeing in education?
What is it?
What does it involve?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So everything outside of performance on the field. So it could be like education, it could be an injury situation, it could be just more. So I'm a careers coach too. So basically, a lot of the players have a bit of a TEA, which is a tertiary education allowance, in their contract, and so whatever they want to study, say it could be a financial or accountancy course or whatever, they could come to me and I'll sort of direct them the right way, which works for them with their training schedule. So a lot of guys like that will do universities or even just want to do something. Like I get a kick out of guys that actually have done nothing through school and then they've actually got a certificate 3 or diploma in something because we've worked 2 years, 3 years just to get to that point. Because like football has been everything for them, but football's not who you're like. It's not your identity. It's what you do. But it's not like the be all and end all of it all because you've got another 20
years after life.
Well, also, like, I guess when you get to that level, there's no plan B. So dealing with that, with those players, do they come to you with that, I guess, those questions? Do they want to do other kinds of studies, or are they, this this is my life. I'm doing this 100%, and nothing else is going to get in the way.
Yeah, you said plan B. We actually have a saying like there's two plan A's, and so the two plan A's is like we say at Parramatta, we say it all the time. So it's ingrained on the young kids that come through the pathways. So two plan A's, and the plan A's is basically like what are you doing for the next 20 years, and we work our way back. So a lot of the guys, I actually forced them to have a sit down, come in my office, and then chat about like let's see for the next 5 years what do you want to do, what do you like. Let's just start there. So this year, for example, there was a guy that come to us from another club. He's been with us for a year, 2 years, and I said, mate, what do you want to do? He goes, I don't know yet. I said, well, I'll give you time. Just think about some of your passions or whatever. A week and a half later, 2 weeks, he comes back and goes, Georgie, I found it. And I said, yeah, what it is? He goes, I want to study a DJ course.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, this is new, something different. Awesome. So, but at least he's thought about it. He's come back and helped me. So my responsibility was actually to find something. So I found a DJ school in Marrickville. He lived in the eastern suburbs, so it was close. And then so the course was like an 8-week, 9-week course for 1 hour, and then he gets his equipment, and at the end of it, he has a 40-minute set that he has to produce, and then so he was telling me about it. He goes, you know what, if I get to that stage, I might invite all the boys and I might get a gig somewhere, and I said, mate, you do that, I'll be there, it'll be fun. Great. So he started, he loves it, and so every now and then I'll go, how's the course going? He goes, it's good, I love it.
Yeah, what are some of the other trades that they sort of...
the guys are doing barbering. Junior loves his barbering. He's a really good hairstylist. Well, he loves his cut hair. He cuts other players' hair as well.
Just cuts already?
Yeah. They're in the old guys one. Kelma's good in barbering. We had barbering, and then we had... one of the players is doing a master's in psychology, positive psychology or coaching. Yeah. Then you got one other guy doing another uni degree in exercise physiology. Yes. And then you've got even some players doing more creative stuff, which is a challenge for me because I'm not creative. Like you think about design, interior design, sewing.
That's awesome. It's a big range.
Yeah, it's huge. That's what I tell our players. I said, or our club, I said, no, it's not one size fits all. Like the sky's the limit. You tell me what you love doing, and we'll figure it out. Try to get there.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Send some of the 30-year-old Fijians over to do that.
Well, see, like for example, Mike is obviously he's gone now, but he came with us with nothing. Yeah. He came with us with nothing. So I said, look, what do you like doing? And so.
Micah
Silva. He's gone. Thanks a lot, Micah. He started. We did a Cert 3 in fitness. He enjoyed that with the group, so he enjoyed that. And then got him thinking, right? And what I do with the guys that actually gets a certificate, I put it on my wall with their photo, so they get the certificate, and I put it on a wall, and I call it the Wall of Fame. So then the players come in my office and they see, hang on, like what's he doing? And he tells them. Awesome. So all of a sudden they start, because now they're very competitive. They start thinking, what can I do? So he got that, and then next year he's thinking, what do I want to do? I go, what do you want to do? Like, so I thought he wanted to do Cert 4 in fitness. He goes, no, I don't want to do that. And then I said, what you tell me? And he said, I'm going to start, obviously being in Fiji, you're going to grow some crops or whatever. So it's just some stuff. He goes, all right, I want to do, I said, okay, cool. This year we'll do a diploma of business. Let's just do that. And so, because he started thinking entrepreneur type of thing, what he wants to do. So he literally got a diploma of business this year, So like from a guy that had nothing, he's got Cert 3 in fitness and a diploma of business, and he's got some sort of qualifications to go with what he wants to do. So that's like, to me, it's like a bit of a win because...
Yeah, 100%.
It's good to get this insight because all you see on TV is all the bad stuff. So it's not really like there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, man.
It's not like growing up in Union. A lot of the kids are very well educated and come from a really good family. But with rugby league, everyone's comes from like a blue collar environment. And it's pretty hard out here. So there's no thinking. It's footy or nothing else. So
it's a big contrast there. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys says there's 80 minutes in the game, but you think about 24 minutes or hours in a day, 24 times 7, that's like 10,080. So there's only 10,080 minutes in a week. Wow. So there's only 80 minutes in the game. So what are you doing for the rest of the 10,000? So all those things that add up to that 80, they're huge. Whereas 80 minutes is just 80 minutes. So he was saying there's so much you can do outside that. And the research we got from data from some of the universities say that if you study outside, you actually stay in the game longer. You actually get picked more consistently, and like you last longer in
the
sport.
longevity.
Yeah, because it helps you mentally and everything.
Yeah.
We can't just be focused on footy all the time, you know. It drains you. That's for sure.
That's probably what you were talking about before with the advent of suicide in France and stuff with a lot of the players, and that distraction is good. Something to aspire towards after footy rather than just putting all your cards in one basket.
The
average, I like that.
Yeah, average is on like 2 years maybe, or even like 4 or 5
So
games.
that's the lifespan.
Yeah, so like you got the whole life to live, and you got kids that want to aspire to be an NRL player. Yeah. I tell them it's awesome, but let's look at what you actually love doing. Yeah. Like you can do something next 24, 30 years.
It's about 5 games, is the lifespan.
I don't know exactly. I've got average is only like
small. Yeah, it's a very small number.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, another important question: how's your coffee business going? And I've been hearing the boys have been coming around, but there's no coffee beans.
No, there was coffee beans today. Actually, the new coaching staff. So they've with 2 days in the new coaching staff. One of the coaches was telling me today. He goes, "Man, I heard about your coffee." I said, "Is that a good thing?" He goes, "No, it's already good." We've got a guy that started. He's our rehab coach, and he's from Melbourne.
Yes.
And I said, "Oh, like." Just so you know, and he loves his coffee, so I'm like, Melbourne's good. But I made him coffee yesterday, and he goes, "Oh, Georgie, that was good." I was like, "Oh, phew." So just
do you make coffee, or is it a...
No, he's good.
I'm getting better.
You know how he's got the wall where he's got the coffee.
I actually got a coffee machine.
Nice.
He's got a spa.
He got taken off me 2 years ago because the boys were hanging around my office too much with the coffee. So I was like, "Get that thing away!" I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Oh man, with I guess with the kids growing up and going into footy and stuff like that. So, how do you sort of advise, or what kind of advice do you give to some of those superstars? Coming through, they just sort of sign the big contracts and they're straight in there with no sort of life experience. How would you help them through that?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Like I think, they've got there on their own accord, their talent and whatever, So if they're young, I'm more concerned because of what they're going to be exposed to. Because it's a big world, like it's an elite sport world, and when you're thrust into it at 19 years of age, young male, you're exposed to a lot, and sometimes that comes with a bit of pressure, a bit of stress. Yeah. So I'm always cautious of when they come in. So I'm always just keeping an eye on them. I don't say too much because I know everyone else is prepping them up, but I'm more just saying, "Hey, I'm here for you. I know it's a big world. You just talk to me if you need anything. I know if you make your debut this year or whatever, like what comes with it as well." So I've seen that along the way, and it's also the other opposite as well. When guys, they've made all the rep teams and they get to that level, but they don't make it and they get injuries. It's the same thing. I'm saying the exact same thing. So I'm treating the person with the going to make his debut or has got the big time contract to the other guy that actually is still trying to make it.
Yeah. So you're always consistent across the
board.
You
have to because everyone sees that. The coaching staff will see, I'm favouring a certain particular group compared to the others, but then the playing group will see that as well. Mm. And so that's one thing that I learned, just to treat everyone the same, which goes back to what you asked me about, Joe, about the culture. Everyone's the same. You treat everyone exactly the same. So I'm here to help. So, and they would see that too, because they can pick. In this world, I always say to people, it's a hard place to get into, because once you're in for a while, because to get trust, to build trust, to let them trust you or find a space where they can, it takes a while. When you're in there, it's good, because if you're an athlete and I'm coming to you, you don't know me, all they're thinking is, who are you and what do you want from me? Every day of the week.
I think it's the same with finance within our community. So this platform is part of the building that community of trust, and exactly what you're saying, man, it's so true. The trust is a big one, and you got to treat everyone the same pretty much. You can't be this character here and then be this,
Yeah, it's so true.
Just be yourself, I think.
Yeah, and the players feel it straight away. They know, this guy's up for something. I can tell. And then they'll ask me, how do you know this guy? Like, is he? They know. They know because they used to it every single day.
Yeah. How do they usually work out, like, sort of like the pay structure and things like that? Do you have any idea about that, or are they tier based through experience?
Yeah, and what age do they lock them in? Like, is it early in terms of? Like,
I know you can't sign a kid like more younger than 15, 16.
So 15 is the
yeah,
sort
so
of,
like, but then, what was your question?
No, like how do they sort of, for a young player, how do they work out the different sort of pay structure?
Oh, okay.
Or the sort of
that's all based on the agent. So the agent will work all that out, and then the pay structure could be a monthly thing or a fortnightly thing. I had, funnily enough, a Fijian guy 3 years ago. He was getting paid monthly, and he wanted to get paid fortnightly. So he actually talked to me, and then I'll talk to our payroll personnel. Just because I think they need to budget well. The other thing with that is, like, some of them don't know how to budget, or some of them don't know how to, like, even open a bank account, or so that we have to.
Do
help
you work
them.
through that?
Yeah, we work with them. We work with them.
Not the managers. Or
no, we
guys?
work with it. Like, if they trust us, we can work with them just to go to get a bank account. I don't know how much they earn or whatever. It's not my place.
But just the basics.
Yeah.
Just the basics.
Oh, so with earnings and that, so that's between the agent and the club.
Yeah. The agreement.
Yeah.
And so what I'll get is just a balance sheet of what sort of the allowance is, so that they can actually use to. To be honest, one of the players, he's done his masters, and all his other degrees, they're all tallied up to about 100K.
Yeah.
All that is paid by his contract. Use what's there.
Yeah.
So, but players don't even have that. They have that TEA contract, but they don't even use it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm pushing. Because you got money there. Use it
Just
for
making them
whatever.
aware of it.
You can do a course, do something.
Yeah. So
Could even be acting course.
100%. 100%. No, 100%. Like, it's a certificate. If you get something out of it, then you can get something out of it and use it for
Everything.
Well, Bram Tor was doing that at the moment.
Is he?
I don't know. I keep hearing about him acting,
Yeah.
He's a character.
He's good. He's very good.
So with the so contracts and that, 15 is when really they can start being serious and get signed. And then in terms of also the club has about 30. Is it 30 in a squad that's signed full time? And then
so like they've got a top 30, and then they've got a development, which are the new rookies coming. Like, I've got a rookie camp this week. We have on Friday.
Rookie camps. Wow,
cool. Rookie camps with NRL. So all the NRL clubs meet together. NRL run a rookie camp, just to let them know what they're exposed to and all these what they're going to experience, but also just more. This is the new world that you live in.
Yeah.
So there's 3 development kids. They're 19, 18.
Yeah.
So they're development contract players.
And they're normally selected throughout the year to be in these squads, And then,
So they can play either flag or New South Wales Cup until after round 10. They can actually get picked for NRL. After round 10, roughly, and then.
And do you guys do they come with with some of the top tier players? Do they all have their own finance professionals?
They would. Some of them would through their manager. Yeah. Like, a lot of the big agency companies come with a broker, come with a whatever else that comes with it.
Yeah.
Property guy
Are there
or whatever.
many finance sort of education type of curriculums or whatever, like classes within?
We have a guy that the NRL uses, and he's actually booked in later on this year. I think his name is Ben Nash. He runs a company called Pivot Wealth, and he comes in and talks about investing, or more just budget as well, and talks about like compound interest, and whatever else investments. Yeah. So he comes in and then he does a one-on-one session with all the rookies, just so that we're like financial literacy for us is another big thing that we as a club we want to. Not achieve, but sort of mandate, so our players have a bit of a basic understanding. Yeah. So we call it a 5-point plan with the Eels. So they do a mental health first aid, a safe drivers course, financial literacy, addiction course, as well as there was one other. So they do. We have to do that.
Oh, you guys look after them. It's pretty well looked after.
Yeah, we like that's you said that before. Like we don't, no one really knows about it.
Yeah.
Like you might have seen the video that came out like a couple of weeks ago with their, they were talking about. A lot of people reached out and said like, we never knew this is another. I go, this is the story you want to hear, but no one's really telling the story.
Well, we do want to hear that because every other time you hear of the bad news about it, of NRL, it's always negative. Like the guys who finish their career and end up, in a difficult relationship and they lose all their money and they have to start again. And which is a great thing that the NRL is actually starting to do it. Was it any different back in, when you started? Did you?
Yes and no. Like
come about?
A lot of the time, I think we've gotten better now by having the support people around.
Yes.
I going as an example, I remember seven, maybe 8 years ago, I caught up with this player in particular place in Sydney. Like in this player, played for Australia, played in New South Wales, he won a premiership, and couldn't even afford to catch him for a coffee. Couldn't afford a coffee. I'll buy him coffee, but just that's the lowest you can ever go, And so he had the big contracts, but just decisions. You talk about decisions, and so like I was there, and I felt so sorry for him. At the same time, I really wanted to help him. At the same time, like you sort of live the decisions that you've made along the way, so you have to own it as well. Yeah. So like we still keep in touch, and he's better now. But that's the sad part of the role, because you see the opportunity they had, or you see like the finances they can actually set themselves up for life, but just not utilised.
Do you think it'd be beneficial for older players who've gone through that? Do they actually bring them in to speak to the younger guys?
Yeah. We'll bring a couple of guys who've made wrong decisions. Yeah. Just gambling is a big thing. So they'll talk about their gambling, how much they would have gambled so many years, and so like it's huge. Like I didn't realise gambling was such a big thing in Australia, to be honest, until I got into the sporting world.
Oh, I've always noticed it, like being playing footy. Out west, but you play footy, then you go to the pubs. And then everyone's at the pub because you have presentation, right? And then you see all the older guys tapping away at they're starting to do bets. But then when you start getting up to, 15, 16 or even younger, then sometimes you're sneaking into those rooms and you go and putting bets down and things like that. So it's a bit of a
accepted cultural thing.
Well, that's what I mean.
Because you're in that space, right? That's where we're having our presentations. That's where. True. But see, all the kids just see that, and it's like, oh, it's normal. Then we just keep doing it. Yeah. But then your first.
That's what I mean. Like a kid will come in who doesn't know anything about it, come into a system, sign whatever. He comes into the system and he realises what's betting, and then he starts betting. Like he never used to bet. Next thing you know, $20 turns into $100, and $100 turns $150 too.
In PNG, it's a massive thing right now.
Is it really?
Problem gambling, especially because they're putting the NRL and betting, and you know how they're fanatical about the NRL. PNG.
Yeah.
So they're all like, all the poor guys are betting on the NRL.
Really?
And you're going without just to have a bet. So it's becoming a bit of a.
I know in New Zealand, if we had a betting company sponsor on our jersey, we have to cover it when we play in New Zealand. Oh, okay. So there's little things like that because I think New Zealand have a specific law.
We're talking about career, like digital social media platforms are big right now. Are there many guys getting into the digital space? They would be, right?
A lot of the young guys are really into the digital marketing, the digital type space. They're really like, especially in our girls program, the girls program, because girls are more influential based with what they wear. So now there's a company called Player Power.
Yes.
And so some girls can earn some serious coin, or athletes can earn some serious coin just by their social media platforms.
It's a big market now, eh? The girls' market's starting to grow away, and it's tell us a little bit about that, man. So, do you do chaplaincy work for them?
No, I don't do the women's program. There's another Auntie Christy that does it. Oh, okay. But we and Dave Gower, who looks after the wellbeing, he's the manager of it. We talk through everything wellbeing, and so the girls' program is going to get bigger. Yeah, wow. And so it won't be long until it become a full-time thing and it become a professional thing, just like the men.
Yeah. So they don't all play full time, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. So they have to, there's a rule where they don't train till a certain time in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So like they can work,
Yeah.
and then they can get, and then some of the girls can get good money, like earning 70, 80K or 100, playing footy, and they can work during the day.
Yeah.
And I know some girls are earning some good, very excess of 6 digits doing some sponsorship stuff on social media. So there's an opportunity there as well.
It's changed. The game's changed so
Huge.
much in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You know, I actually enjoy watching it now. You know, the
Yeah,
skill
yeah.
levels, amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'd have to get someone on who knows the real money side of it, you know, just to give the young guys a bit of an idea.
Oh, what do you like?
Like in terms of base salaries, if there's such a thing, you know, do they get like at a certain age, like?
Yeah, I think Dave Gale would know the actual base.
Yeah.
I know, like I don't know if they can quote me. Like you can start off with a kid coming out of high school for 80K, bro.
Yeah,
like
okay.
80K is good for a kid coming out of high school.
No experience rather than working in the factory.
Straight in.
Yeah, that's
straight
awesome,
in.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
And living at home still.
Yeah,
It's all
exactly.
that spending.
But then you got to think like this is where things come unstuck. Is that you got your super, whatever 6%, whatever it is, and then you got your agent fee.
Yes.
All that sort of stuff. And then if they're living away from home or they're paying rent. So all that sort of takes away from that 80K, but that 80K becomes 50.
Yeah, that's right. And you're living the superstar life, so you're buying all the cool stuff.
Yeah. So like, it is good like for a kid, but then you work like when you work your way up, your salary increases. So then like what's the highest like the tax bracket here in Australia in Sydney?
40%.
Yeah,
40%.
Yeah, 49. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 50%. Yeah.
Like you think about kids, guys that are on 900.
Yeah,
They literally they actually get
450.
exactly.
But then you've got all the other fees, so taxes, like yeah. So it's not really much at like if you.
We think about
big on the papers,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like he's on $1 million a year, but really he's on.
Well, that's what I mean. Like with what we do as well, like you can own a business, you run with it, you build it up, and use your platform now to build it, and so that can progress you into whatever world you want to get into.
So I think, man, your role's critical in what they're doing now. I mean, if we had someone like you when we were 19, is he?
I did have Mr. Dansey here around when I was 19.
You were running away.
I was just.
But you learn along the way. Like you have scars for a reason, right? Like to show that you've actually gone through life a bit.
Yes.
And some good bad scars, some good scars, but like you actually lived through the journey.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the best way to learn. Like you just go through. But also for me, the biggest thing is ask the question. How come is this like this? Like we're afraid. I had to learn through boarding school to ask the question. I wasn't.
You would have been young starting there, and you've seen the growth of these kids. Like now, you can look back and say, "Oh, wow, these kids are so young now." When you look back,
I can see as 17, 18-year-old kid now, and I can see where it is. Like in 5 years' time, I can see it now because of what I've gone through, but also what people have told me as well. One thing I want to do this or next year is get a. I think you guys might be involved. Is get a network of Pacifica. Individuals or groups or companies that actually are doing it in the community. Yes. So you talked about another guy that was on the show before, but there's a guy that is Samoan who I know really well. He's high up in industry, the clothing label.
Yes.
So he's very good. He's the marketing manager Australia wide. Oh. So he's. I just want to get a network of people that are doing it that are of Pacifica background that we can use in any stage and then use them as like a workshop. So you can go, oh yeah, he's a clothing guy. Oh yeah, he just Crunch Fitness. That's owned by
Tongan guy.
Yeah, Tongan. Oh, is that him? Yeah. So another guy. There's that clothing. There's also all these builders.
Yes.
And then all these people are just from different environments, but they've gone through the journey, but they've also they want to give back.
Yes.
So
that's part of this community. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So it fits, like, yes, the one of the young guys can give a call. Hey, I want to be this.
Correct.
Do you reckon? What do you think is going to be? How much do you get paid? Or how many hours do you work? What certificates do I need? And then to see someone who's working in that industry that looks like you, that it's possible.
That's that's the thing. You're touching on the issues because. The other thing is, look, you got players. We have to understand where they come from too.
Yes.
So some players that come from big families at home, we don't even know how many. Like one player could be one of 6, 7 siblings.
Right. Yeah.
So the coach and staff could ask me, hey, do you know, ask about it. I'm like, yeah. So they're probably more worried about his nutrition, what's he eating at home. So they come to me and I talk to them. So that's like another way of bridging the gap. So you can get like just small things like that. Like you break it down. I remember.
Cassava and taro.
I should get Robin down there. She knows all about the island food.
Well, no, like I remember just culturally, like just to understand and break it down.
Yes.
I remember we played when Semi Randrada was playing for us. We played in Melbourne, and I was there, and the backs went out to warm up first. He walks out, and he's singing, laughing. Yeah. We've been on a bad losing trot for a couple of weeks. He's laughing, singing, looking at me, and then the coach behind him turns to me and goes, what's he singing? Why is he singing for? He's walking out. So I'll just leave it. I won't say anything. They come back, they warm up, they get ready to go. Semi kills it, scores 2 or 3 tries that game. We win the game in Melbourne.
Wow.
After they're all celebrating, the coach comes back and goes, how do we get him singing every week? I said, that's on you. I said to him, you know what, like, and I read Brian, the Fijian coach that won the gold medal, first one. I read his book, and he said, Seventh Haven, he said, you be wary or be cautious of the Fijian smile.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I said to the coach, I said, just so you know, when you get a Fijian player that's laughing and smiling and singing, game over. Like you got him in the right place. You created that space for him to enjoy.
Yeah. Just happy,
bro.
Good space.
Yeah.
Well, how do you find that with like all the Pacific Islander kids? When they come to obviously,
because they're ready to play. They're just happy.
No, 100%.
The culture and everything, and sometimes they're like, I don't know how to behave around the Kawalangis and stuff like that. We don't really have the eye connection or things like that, so we're always sort of looking down.
Yeah.
How have you
we've learned over the years that we had to educate our staff, or coaching staff, just to know that, explain to them that when he's not looking at you, he's actually paying you the biggest respect you can ever have. And so that's one. The other thing is also like some to explain different types of the training or like whatever they're training for. Explain in a different way. Like some kids don't even know what a ruck is. Like you have to break it down to give them a picture. So that's another one. And then
they're normally just nodding their head.
Yeah, nodding their head. Yeah.
Okay. Give me the ball, run.
Well, that I saw a video of I forgot his name now. Ryan. I forgot his name. He said when they played the gold medal final against England in Brazil, there was England. They were supposed to warm up. Fiji already supposed to warm up on this particular field. England ran out first, and they took their field.
Ryan.
Yeah, Ben Ryan. And so he goes, okay, so England's already taken over. Like, that's the first one. And then he saw England warm up, and they were like tense. Fiji was singing in the sheds. Yeah. And they all ran out singing, laughing. They warmed up, laughing, come back in the shed. He goes, we've won this game. And they smoked them.
Spiritual battle. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. My questions left me on the...
Yeah, so the pay structures generally increase as they get older,
Depending on your, if you sign a 3-year deal, you can start with a base of 80, go up to 120, and then, your last year was your big week, 160.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's an investment in the club to say, you know what, we put value on you, and this is, we'll
after you.
Correct. Yeah. And if you get there, who knows what the market value could be after that.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Have you got any successful players that have made the transition?
Outside, finished?
Yeah, finished and then gone on
to there's a couple that come to mind. Timmy Manners is a big one.
Yep.
He's got, that's not to say that when you retire, there's definitely a bit of a dip in your, because you're just not used to
thrust into the real world.
Yeah, schedules, massage, the elite program. So there's definitely a bit of a, I would say, a bit of a moment or season where you go through just to adjust to the new world. But so he's one that stands out because he's now like he's got 4 or 5 different hats on that he's doing. He's invested in businesses. He works for a major company as well, and he's also an ambassador. But he's done well. He's used his time while playing.
He's leveraged his
he's been
status.
very good and loyal, and the guys that he's supported and networked to keep that relationship off once he retired, and that's come back and supported him real well, and he's built, he's not using them because of his relationship the right organic way. It's helped him, and now it's got to a point where he's actually doing really well.
That's really important, especially I guess, say for example if you're out injured or something, the members up there and everyone's got a wealth of experience. It'd be, I guess, the onus on you as a player to go up there and be actually interested and put yourself out there. Network, I guess.
No.
That's probably the best place you can go to network and just sort of prep for the future also.
Yeah, you got to use it. You got to use your relationships and your network that you're on a platform that's giving you opportunity, so that opportunity, you got to sort of grab it, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to go far to find it. They're actually looking for you. Like the guys that are not playing on the game day, they go to like the function rooms, go to interviews. So people are there. And people are willing. They run a company. But one thing I know, people love rugby league. People love sport. So they want to invest in it just to rub shoulders with it. So like you got one side of that, then you got the players that sometimes just maybe can't be bothered.
Building confidence in it, so like offering courses like what you do, the knowledge empowers them, and then that confidence, it's easy to go strike a conversation with the guy who owns this business because, I want to do that. What's it like?
But that culturally for us, like we're not naturally like that in a natural way, so we have to learn to talk to them or find a way to, how are you? Just even talk to them. Like,
just find something that's common, You got 2 legs, I got 2 legs.
Oh, what are you doing? That's
how do you actually sort of prepare the older guys, or how do you work with them to get them ready for retirement?
Yeah, that's a big question. I'm still learning that now, because sometimes it can. Like, some people come to me, that their timeline's going to be coming to an end. Sometimes it could be too late for them. So like I've learned that way as well. So you're trying to fast track things, but I just think just do little steps at a time towards that season. Some of the guys, one guy's actually going to Super League, so he's not finishing up, but he started his Bachelor of Education, so he wanted to become a teacher.
Nice.
So I helped him do his application through Griffith University, and so he was so thankful for doing it, and now he's going to process and doing it. But that's like a start, and he wants to come back and finish it while when he does his time in Super League.
But it's so funny when you talk about retirement, and you're talking about retirement, it's like late 20s, early 30s, and it's like retiring from sport, but not starting life,
No, that's what I mean.
Families and kids. And
you got on 40
years.
years.
Very difficult time as well for those players, You lose your base, you lose your friends, and
a lot of the time, a lot of them won't be earning that much money ever again. So they've got to think as well, like they think that's going to be there for the rest of their life. So like, if you get 150, 160 or plus, it's like you think you're getting that, not in 5 years, 6 years time, unless you've done well.
Yeah, so it's not, it's like contracts, it's like it's not regular income. It's not like you get a pay slip, and it's more like a contract, and then you pay all your own taxes and stuff like that, right? That's what I understand. That's how it works.
Yeah, I think so. Like everything's obviously based off. So
you got to manage your own sort of money from the beginning. There's no super. There's no super, right? You got to pay your own super.
But whatever super that's been organised through your agent, whatever.
Financial literacy within the things should be.
We're so young. They're so young.
Massive thing.
Like people don't like. I remember having a conversation about having because some players they're cluey that way. They get a trust.
Yes.
Talk about trust and anything that it can be like a tax write-off, paying the trust, but somehow I don't know how it all works within the contracts with the NRL or whatever. But like, because they do,
they got good families, backgrounds, good people around them,
And then that's what some of the athletes do in an academy or something that could use that as a tax write-off too.
To start a business.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because they look at what the American athletes are doing. They do their own foundation. They do their own charity, and so that could be another avenue of actually saving.
Yeah, with you hear a lot about Pacifica players. They this contract, they come, you know, it comes with their family comes with the package type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So in terms of sending money, is that still big, like sending money back home and all that within the
I still ask the players, I know it happens, just so I know, like, are you still, yeah.
Okay.
But then the other part of it is, I know that there'll be a time when they meet somebody, that yes will be a no or maybe or every now and then, you know, because I know, like, it's funny because they come to a system and then they help mum and dad out, which is awesome, but then they meet another person, but the other person is not culturally the same, or it's Australian. Like, I'm married to Australian, Stephanie, and she realises, like, money is such a big thing where you give back to your family. So I know when they meet somebody, like, money's going to be a bit of an issue, and it'll come up. And so the ones that do it well, they talk about it. The ones that don't, they just bump heads until they be honest about it. You know, so I can understand where they do send money, and anything to do with money, it's either going to whatever, funeral or whatever. But I understand there'll be a point where they'll say no, whether it's now or later down the track, because
gets too much, it doesn't stop me. But I guess,
it can be difficult as well for these players. But how would you say no? You know, it's so difficult.
You say no to mum and dad, like, and
sort of start from the start.
And so culturally, like, to understand that you sort of you can't even start there, because they in a way they're the ones that actually help you get there. So,
that's right.
You know, so but like, people are trying to break that mold, because, like, at the end of the day, that player could end up with nothing after his pay cycle.
And it has happened.
Yeah, exactly, it has. And so they have to figure out a way just to say, you know what, like, break it down the numbers. This is what's going on here. You can have this much, not this much, so that he needs to petrol, all that sort of stuff. So you give a bit of a breakdown and a visual. So we were doing that with nutrition, with food. So we had our dietitian with all our younger junior reps talk about, like, what's good and what's not, and how should be, you know, like, if you want to get here, this is what you got to have it at home. So just be cautious. We're not telling them what to do. We're just allowing them to see this is what, you know, like, the next stage looks like. Same thing. So, like, with food, but also with money, it gets to the point where I can see it down the track. And so I remember years ago, I was sort of annoyed, but when I heard about it, I was like, oh man, a young player bought a house, awesome. Like, he bought a house. And then the house was a really nice house, but mum and dad lived in it as well. Good. Brother and sister lived in the house too, but he was the only one working. Mum and dad, like, you know, so I was like, man, the kid was only, young. So, like, I was like, man, how are we gonna navigate this? Because I know what was coming, you know. So that was a challenging one. I just support him, because I know at some stage you will.
I guess it's awareness. That's having these conversations, bringing the awareness to it.
I think maybe also when you do those financial education thing, the parents should actually come in too for those young people.
No, that's all. Because we
got to show everyone.
We have ideally you'll have the agent, the parents, and the player, and then you have the staff from whatever club talk it through. This is what happens. And we've done that a couple of times just so they understand we're all on the same page, and that helps. You're right. Sometimes it just takes a bit of, you know, like. The other thing too, like, with the big world, everyone thinks if you're an NRL or contracted player, you think you're earning.
It's not. It's just like a job, really.
So there's the attachment too, which it's not true at all. That's what I find a lot.
I think we do have that misconception that these guys are millionaires, you know, but they're on, like, pretty, like, normal salaries, to be honest. But they're just young. That's all, getting that salary that you would after 10 years work experience type of thing, you know.
Correct. And the ones that are earning good money are your top 10%. You know, like, they're the ones that you hear about every day. So, like, there's a big gap between that and the top.
And that's what I sort of like with the audience here. It's only 3 or 4 players in the team that earn the big dollars, you know, but the rest are competing. And all having an error, but they love it, so it's good, you know. It's
well, you know, you're getting some good support financially.
Do you find there's a correlation between the guys who financially manage better to their performance, like in terms of performance? There is that.
It's the same thing with guys that study. When they got their finances or numbers in a row,
perform better. Right?
They're quite organised. You can tell what type of, like, they're very well disciplined. They know exactly, so nothing really hinders them. Like, a lot of the guys are generous too, like, like very generous. So that's even just a small thing like going for a coffee, like a lot of them are quite generous.
Can you tell who's spending a lot by the type of cars they have?
No, I think that's died down. Like a lot of a lot of the time they just use the sponsored cars, so they know how to be smart. So they use a smart. Where
kids, man, they're onto it.
They're onto it now. Because I know years ago, I remember talking to cars, the new car, this, that, and I'm like, man, how do you? Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. We talked about the family. I was in a conference, and the lady that spoke, she was from America, and she ran, I think she used to be in charge of all the play association for NFL or college. Yeah. And she said the issues with us is that it's not just the athletes. The athletes are all educated. It's their families and what they bring. So now you got like Uncle Jeff, who's there. Then you got Uncle Jeff, and now it's the social media guy who's now the agent. So you've got like all these people that. And we're talking multi-million dollars too. Yeah.
How do you manage that, eh? Like, 'cause it's hard because they sort of grown up with these guys. And they've been there the whole journey, but then it's a whole different expertise at this level, Yeah,
I think the one in America is like they expect it. Yeah, they expect it like the hand up because I looked after you. It's different.
It's part of their culture there. It's quite deep. Do you guys get in? Like, do you sort of get a lot of training and things from American?
Yeah, like that lady that came. We have an NRL annual conference.
Like a lot of athletes now going over for rehab and stuff. In terms of the medical, like sports science and that. Who pays for that? Do they pay for it, or
no? There'll be a club expense or outside source.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Probably partially, but no.
Yeah, with what you guys do, the education part of it. So how does that sort of work? Who's coming over and giving those?
Yeah, we work with actually a lot of the wellbeing conferences. So we're all part of the wellbeing education career. So we're quite advanced here in NRL. Like probably the only sport that's quite financially well resourced. So like you wouldn't think AFL, but we had a conference with AFL and cricket, and we were well resourced with staff and how we do things. The lady that came from, she used to run NBA, Play Association, and I think NFL. She's now doing NASCAR, but she said like just how we do it here is more organic and more one-on-one, whereas it's a different type of matrix over there.
Yeah, I'm hearing a whole different side of rugby league from you, man. It's like, wow, there's all this stuff behind it, and these guys are, give it a few years.
So like another part of my role is I have to book in sessions. We have mandatory workshops that the NRL set for them to come and talk to us players about. And it could be 1 year, could be, I don't know, coercive control. So we have a lawyer come and talk about like what happens if on social media or whatever. So we're having that tomorrow. So all these, we have finance coming in, talk about it. We have all these different workshops that we want to ingrain in our players just to help them along the journey. And like could be a police officer coming and talk about like just association, a criminal association with whoever. You might just be careful who you hang out with, type of thing. So there's all these different avenues that the NRL are trying to help, and they try to make it relevant to whatever the situation or issues are now.
You are doing a lot. The clubs in NRL are doing a lot.
Yeah, so we gotta tell Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10. Hey, report here. Report this stuff. Don't report the other stuff.
No, this is boring.
Do you help out much with the team and the community work or anything like that?
That's one area we want to grow in. Like, funny you say that because that's another growth area that we can do. A lot of the time, like the players already maxed out with their time.
Yep.
But what I find is they're willing to give if it's the right, the right
cause. What the passionate about. Yeah.
And so, like a couple of times, I just text guys, "Hey, we're gonna go. You got money? You want to go to Woolies bicycle? I'm going to deliver some stuff to this lady. She just lost or whatever." The next day, I have a whole office full of stuff, and we'll just go deliver it. So there's the heart's there, only when the time is right too, and when it's organic. So the charity work is definitely a work in progress for us because we want to do stuff. The other side of it also is I'm very cautious of not using or not making sure the media doesn't get a hold of it. Because it sometimes can be a bit of that.
Yeah, they're thinking, you're doing it just for that. Yeah. It's not really. I know a lot of the boys, man, they're meanwhile, they have good hearts,
Yeah,
sort of
and they want to do it away from the camera, they want to do it out of goodwill.
In jest,
Good.
Your last question,
No.
Georgie. How can young athletes and Pacific Islanders make sure they're preparing for a secure financial and professional future? In your opinion, like what advice could you give them? Like to,
I think the smallest thing is just learning some good habits. Small habits could be just learning how to save or learning how to. You talk about financial habits, just learning how to save, learning how to know what investing is. Like I never know what investing was until I was.
Listen to those people
30.
that come in and talk to you.
Yeah, like investments. Like learn how to just small habits of saving, not overspending what you got, and just be. But at the same time, I want to be generous as well. So there's a bit of a catch-22. But I just think that the small habits is learn how to save. It's huge.
Right. That's. I think that's how you start. As just little the 1%, as they say.
Yeah.
Do the 1% in your financial life.
Well, it's funny because with our kids, I said you got to do something to get something. Like you got to make your room clean outside to get $5.
Yes.
So all that stuff you learn how the hard work to learn. The reward.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. Like I think people are trying to. I was talking to someone today. I was coming on the podcast and we're talking about businesses and everything. The one thing that no one really talks about is the hard work. Everyone wants to know how did you get there? But everyone doesn't know. Like I worked 4 or 5 jobs to get to where I am. Like no one knew how many jobs. You own a cafe down the road.
Yeah.
Like all this hard work that's sort of tedious, but at the same time, like it actually made you who you are now.
Yeah, money's a boring topic. That's why no one wants to talk about it. It's hard. It's a hard topic to get your head around.
But that's why we've got to get interesting people in here.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but I'm actually interested in money because it's in
that's
everything.
That's why we're waking up. If you're not awake, you're asleep.
Yeah, true. Is that what you're saying?
Well, George, on that note, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and
we've got to do this again, man. We're gonna dig deeper into
I'm happy.
Some of these issues, and as it comes up, and as we grow as well on the platform. But yeah, man, you're a wealth of knowledge, and
inspiration to us too.
Oh, thank you
for so long.
I'm actually really pumped because I'm willing to help whatever area, whatever to help out with you guys and what you guys are doing. So whenever you need me, I'm all there. If not, we can get maybe a player we can do.
Maybe talk about his experience.
In
terms of how he's maybe navigated the financial.
I'm happy to talk to a couple of them. Then I can be here so they can make him look, make him feel comfortable. We can do that. Yeah.
Beautiful, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Georgie.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Naka.